Right. On here. Good morning. Okay. Get everything straight. I did make. I made sure today there's two feeds in my system. One is just a regular feed, morningless, and one is a 5G feed. And I've learned that if I go with the 5G feed, then there's less skipping and the signal is much better. Okay. Um, we're going to go. We're going to change direction today. We're going to. The last 4 or 5 times that I've done a live feed, I've been hammering on something. Um, First off, I'd like to tell y'all, if you're for some people out there, if you're going to do a live feed, you can't just pop on the scene. I did that yesterday. I don't like that. You have to let people know when you're going to be there and then do it. Be on time. Years ago in Nashville, I was working in the old RCA brownstone building, and there was a session going down the hall. I was going out to get a sandwich, and I looked in, and I actually saw Keith Richards sitting on an amp. He practically the only one in the room. And I, walked in and said hi. He said hi. And I said, well, what's going on? And when he was there with Billy Joel and some other people working with George Jones on a commemorative album. And he was the only one there so far. I said, well, it looks like you showed up alone. And he said, well, I worked for Her Majesty's Postal Service for a while, and I could probably show up for work dead. Well, I took those words of inspiration. If you tell someone that you're going to do something, unless you have a catastrophe, you need to do it. So here we are, spot on. Now, first in advance, good morning to everybody. For the last few days, the reason I got into this particular vein of videos was not for any design or purpose of my own, but there were a number of people who were alarmed, upset, did not understand a lot of things, and it was just originally it was just a small effort on my part to calm people down, and I began to gather a following, which is amazing, consider me and everything, and I began to talk to people who called me, and they're good people, one and all, good people, one and all, every one of them. I met some amazing people in the last 5 days. The one thing I don't like to do is beat a dead horse, and so we're not going to beat a dead horse anymore. I think you know who the dead horse is. If you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. The last 8 years have been a boondoggle. And I read a book in the last 24 hours, and I've watched a couple of documentaries, and I've actually read a thesis by a dean of an American college who happens to be from India. And reading this man's work, analyzing it, looking at history, I began to understand Barack Hussein Obama. Now, I've heard all of the stuff about he's an illegal alien, his wife's really a man, his daughters are adopted, all that. Just forget about all that. It's all poppycock. The man was probably born in Hawaii, not because of the birth certificate nonsense and all that. There was a reason I think that was jumbled up. Barack Hussein Obama I was actually married to another woman in Kenya when he married Barack's mother, and so that's the reason for the confusion, probably. But his birth was actually announced in 2 newspapers. So the man really was born in Hawaii, just like my brother-in-law Tony was born in, I think, Bermuda. That did not make him not an American. Anyway, do away with that. He has done several things over the years. I'm going to give you all a short history lesson that were confusing. He shuts down drilling and oil exploration in the Gulf of Mexico. In concert with this, he sabotages the Keystone Pipeline. When he did this, at the same time, he lifted restrictions and he enhanced the South American countries who were drilling for oil and made it more advantageous for them to drill for oil and sell to us. He reduced our military nuclear arsenal from, I think, around 5,000 warheads to, I believe it was 1,300 or 1,500. At the same time, he cast a blind eye to Iran's development of nuclear missiles. Then he turned around and he enhanced Iran, Saudi Arabia. He pulled down the gates and let the Syrians come in the country. And all these things were confusing, and people were yelling communist, Muslim, all this kind of stuff. Well, you're right. You're right. The confusion, Penn says, the best part of magic is misdirection. Don't look here, look there. While I'm shaking this handkerchief, you're not looking at the tarantula I'm pulling out of my pocket. That kind of thing. Well, that's what we had going here. All Americans, black and white, believed that I brushed my teeth today, can't do a thing with my mouth, that Barack Obama was a black man. Well, he was and he wasn't. The black people in America said, well, he's black like us, so he was in South Chicago, he must have this mindset. He did not. Barack Obama's mindset comes from a thing called anti-colonialism. Write that down. There'll be a quiz later. Anti-colonialism. His father, Barack Obama's number one, and his mentor, Frank, and other people in his life that he studied under, lived through the liberation of Kenya, the liberation of a lot of African nations, where the European countries had control and power over their resources, and they basically enslaved these people, and they took their gold, silver, goats, and all their cattle, and they took them off to England or wherever, and they sold them to the West to a tremendous profit. Okay, Obama believes in the end of colonialism, and he sees America as the prince of this type of movement. That he believes that America needed to be leveled. Yeah, needed to be leveled, and the playing field, the international playing field, needed to be more level. Iran needs 500 nuclear missiles, and he wants us reduced to about 300. That way it'll make America more equal with the world. Now, this will destabilize the nations, because the world actually depends on America being strong with a strong economy. The dollar is the benchmark, was before we got the credit rating of a rather successful meth dealer. But it's imperative that America become we need to make America great again, okay? Let's just put the long and short of it. For 8 years, the president has endeavored to tear down the United States and make it, more equal with the world. He envisions colonial empires that all went down and turned loose of India, Kenya, South Africa, and all that as a necessary thing. He also wants to enhance the Muslim world, and everybody always guessing, is he a Muslim, is he not a Muslim, is he a Muslim? Well, if you walk like a duck and cluck like a duck, then you're a duck. When you put on the robe and the hat, and you bow and pray 5 times a day, and you invite these people into your White House, and you go over there and you genuflect to the kings of Saudi Arabia, that means you're a Muslim. It's as simple as that. And there's nothing wrong with somebody enhancing a religion, but in my opinion, if you're going to enhance a religion, you must at least admit it. You must get up there and say, I believe in Islam. Now, he doesn't believe just in Islam, he believes in the nation of Islam. One of his agendas was to unify the warring tribes, and that's what they really are, in the Middle East against the nation of Israel, which is the only democracy in Israel. To make Israel a little sliver of land with all enemies all around it and no American support. A deal which he sealed very aptly about a week ago when he turned his back on Israel and had the representative before the UN just abstain from voting. After his State Department actually helped design the motion before the UN. That's not the act of a friend, and that's not going to last, okay? Um, his Obamacare was designed to destroy the health care in the United States. Uh, Everything this man has done, if you look at the design of a person who is anti-colonial, then you will see the common thread that goes through his entire presidency. It then makes sense. His own half-brother, who said on camera that the reason South Africa is more of a second world country than a third, and that his country in Kenya is a third world country, even though both are independent, both have spit the colonial influences, but President Obama's own half-brother said we should have kept the white people just a little longer. That's what the South Africans did, and they learned, and they put together their system that, while not perfect, it works better than Kenya. President Obama basically disowned his brother. He was living in a shack that he could spread his arms out to each wall like this. And the man was so civil, he told the reporter, well, he does help me. He said, well, how? Well, with global warming, and we can all breathe a little better with this. But as far as Barack writing a check for $5 so this man can have a piece of chicken, he's not doing it, because this man said, no, we should have kept the crackers around just a little while longer, like South Africa. They did good, we did not. Barack Obama's father was a loser. He was a radical. He was an anti-colonialist. He got killed in a car wreck. He was a drunk driver. Barack struggled his entire life coming to grips with this. His own sister come to the United States to visit him, sat him down, and wised him up. You are worshiping a brutal drunk who lied, basically shacked up with Barack's mother while he was married to another woman. Then he went back and got another woman, sprinkled kids all over Central Africa, got one in Hawaii, you know. And she just told him he's not a good man. And President Obama made a trip back to Kenya, his famous trip that he outlines in his book, Dreams from My Father, and had to kneel and cry before Barack, the number first, before his grave, and try to come to grips with his political realities. Well, his political realities is he is a socialist. And that's not, his wife is a man, his daughters are adopted. He is a socialist. He firmly believes in taking 100% of your money, the government taking all your money, and giving it back to you as needed. Of course, the people who don't want to pay and don't have jobs, they get an equal share. That's called a socialist. You want to see socialism? Obamacare. Okay? Now, he would love to take the one semblance of socialism, Social Security, and tear it up. You know, he'd like to tear it up. So, I mean, you got some conflicting things, but mostly it's not conflicting. This is what you've got to understand. If you understand Barack Obama's mindset, then you'll understand why he did the things he did from his first inauguration until next Friday. Now, let's move on. Second part of the show. Before you start shaking and quaking, wringing your hands over what President Obama is going to do in the next few days, I'm going to let you know something. America is going to be great again. We are already on the road to recovery. If you do not think that Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated, why is the Senate convening right now as I speak and interviewing the nominee for Attorney General? I think Mr. Sessions, I believe. I'm not sure of the name. But he's before the Senate right now being questioned to confirm him for his post, as will the others be. These men and women in Congress and the Senate are serious people. They don't waste their time at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 in the morning after breakfast going through motions when they don't think something's going to come out. These people only work 129 days a year. I mean, they're pretty lazy, really, get right down to it. They only work 129 days a year, and if they're up there questioning this guy, there's a good reason for it. Mr. Trump is preparing to move in the White House. The inauguration preparations are well underway. Everything is going like it should go. And this is what I'm saying. We're not going to beat a dead horse. All these bad things that have been said happen. all the people who are upset. One thing I don't like about some live feeds is when somebody will get on something. Thank you, hon. Somebody will get on the subject and they'll get a few hits and they'll get a few followers, and then they want to just hammer that same subject. Same stuff. Hold it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Another one bites the dust. Anyway, I believe in moving forward. When I write for Crystal Lee and the Damn Good Times, the Tea Party Tribune up in Salt Lake, some other papers, I will do a highly charged Texas political article one day, and the very next day I'll write a story about the OK Corral. It's called Variety. People don't like to be bored. That's one thing that I don't like about some of the shock jocks. Like, man, burn, baby, burn. Jeff Sessions. I just seen it pop up on my screen. This man's name is Jeff Sessions, and even Alex Jones is saying the optimism is, this is a 3-alarm fire. Y'all give me a minute. Jesus Christ. Anyway, you can't just continually hammer something. You have to make it interesting, informative, and I've always believed that you have to show somebody a solution and a direction, and that's what we're going to start doing now. We are already on the road to recovery. America's already becoming great again. House prices are already going up. People are already being employed. Wall Street is becoming ecstatic. Russia is not shutting down because Putin knows he's only got about another week and a half and he's done with this clown, and then we can do business as usual. The Chinese are making more shoes. You know, things are going to go well, but America must be strong again, and that's why we all have to put the lunacy behind us. The lunacy of the shock jocks and the people who doomsday, Amerigeddon, or better yet, like Crystal Lee and Mike Norris made the movie that come out last year. Amerigeddon, not Armageddon, Amerigeddon. Y'all need to check that movie out online. I've watched it. It's very good. I especially like Crystal's part in it. You'll love it. We've got to be positive. Like I've said before, always watch people, always be aware. But my suggestion to the people that are, I'm humble, that take time out of their day to listen to me, study civics. Go down to Barnes & Noble and just buy a book on civics. The one thing that happened in this last election is, yes, Obama and his crowd would love to have their way. Yes, they would love to have a third term. Yes, Hillary would love to have won and just open the borders. Yes, only one thing stopped. Well, two things actually stopped them. The Constitution and the American people. All of them. People that were going to vote for Trump because of all the violence and the racism on their part, not ours, were scared to even admit in public they were going to vote for Trump. But when they pulled that curtain, that was the end of it. And the American people spoke. And all of the smoke and mirrors, all of the scare tactics, all of the lies, all of the people who watch people like Alex Jones and then mimic what they say on their live feed, all that didn't make any difference. The American people spoke. Shalom. We the people do have the power to make change. We the people do have that power, and we did. And that's where I'm going to continue to write and do stuff like this. But you will see in each video, I will address an issue. And if there is an issue, I will tell you what the issue is. The truth. If someone asks me a question, and like I said, I'm not going to fall back on beating a dead horse, witch hunts. It does no good. Negativity never helps. Positive thinking helps. You can't make a change just by voting. Yeah, and you can't record a record in Harker Heights, Texas, in a garage studio and sell 3 million copies either. Okay, you can't do that either. Yeah. You can't write 5 books in a little room across town and sell those either. You can't become a very moderately known blogger in Texas with an iPad, an iPhone, a cigarette, and a cup of coffee. Can't do that either. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, okay? Even my mistakes have been monumental. You can't fly up to Long Island and shack up with J.P. Morgan's great-granddaughter. I lost my ass hat and all my cattle, but I've done it. You know, and you can too. In fact, you people look at me right now, you already did it. The very fact that you're here listening to this broadcast proves that you did take the time to go and vote. You made your voice known and you stood by it, and we have a new president, and he's going to do well by us. You've already done it. We've already been there, done that. Okay? Optimism. Keep your heads up. Don't be afraid. Love over hate, right. Even the people that have made mistakes, even the people who have a past and look like they're going down the wrong path, even they can be saved if they just turn around. I was. I couldn't have been lower in 1981. You know, I was lower than whale crap. And it's on the bottom of the ocean and everything. I came back. I worked a job at cable climbing telephone poles for 13 years. I lost my 2 boys in a divorce. God gave me back those 2 boys and 2 more, you know, and I raised 4 boys. I was married for 25 years. I built a life. Then everything crashed in 2010. Everything crashed again. Oh, Lordy. Run out to the desert. You know, it's all over and everything. Well, it's not all over. I'm selling more books now than ever. Okay? I'm developing new friendships and insightful friendships. Okay? Now, some ground rules when I broadcast, and I've talked to a wonderful lady last night. I've talked to several ladies in the last couple of days, and I've told all of them the same thing. If you disagree with me, it's no problem. I might be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. I might say something. I was talking to a young lady last night. I'll just give you an example, and this is all philosophical. I'm not quoting her only. She happens to believe in the Illuminati. Alex Jones believes in the Illuminati. I don't believe in the Illuminati. I know. Everybody's going to go, oh, God, he's crazy. No, I don't believe it. I know that there are rich people that get together, and they may cling together and all this kind of stuff. But as far as ancient Celtic bunch of Knights Templar and all that, no. Now, human beings need to have organization in their life. They need to think they believe to something. They hold to something. I don't, you know, I'm a Texas nationalist. Okay? I can make fun of people believing in the Illuminati, and then I turn around and do something that's just as bat-crap crazy as they are by wanting to secede from the Union. Okay? And I'll admit it. I think I'm going to be on a conference call tonight with the Texas Nationalist Party as a speaker. You know? And I firmly believe in that. Now, we have backed up. With the election of Donald Trump, we see some hope. There's 2 veins. One is it's going to work. We're going to have our independence but stay in the Union. The states are going to retain control over their affairs, and we're going to go on. And there's another contingent that says, okay, we're going to work with these Yankees for a couple of years, and then we're going to petition to a more sane mind, Donald Trump, and we're going to pull away and become the Republic of Texas. Whereas we will be an ally to the United States. You guys will get 85 cents a gallon gas, all the T-bones you can eat, and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. But neither here nor there. You've got to maintain optimism. If you friend me, I'll accept your friendship. I don't believe in trolls. I didn't say I don't believe that people are called trolls. Just because someone disagrees with you politically or socially does not make them an evil troll. Just because they're angry with something you said or they point out your errors does not make you a bad person. Explain your position. I disagree with a friend of mine who's a best-selling author on what he thinks about secession. We have opposing views on that. We both want secession, but we have different methods. But we don't throw beer bottles at each other on the Capitol steps. You know, come on. You can disagree. That's what democracy is about. That is what America is about. More Texas is about. Okay. On a personal side, I'm putting together now the publishing. The publishing is going well. I'm going to center my publishing now in Austin, which it always has been, and one of my relatives is going to help me set up everything in Utah, and I think he's coming down here. Brilliant man, distributor. Uh, he's had a pretty good career in banking, stuff like that, and I want to set up my shipping on my product, and I'm a capitalist. I won't even lie to you, man. Okay, you look at the top of this video and you'll see all kinds of links, and you can buy my books. And you'll get them within 1 or 2 days. If you're Prime and you get it real quick, you can download them to your iPad, but you'll get the product. And that's what I do this for. Help inform people, do something good, and hopefully I'll sell a bunch of books, and then I get to go and buy some more beer. That's what it's all about. Okay? But when you've also got to give something back. That's what got me, in conclusion, I want to say, what got me doing this, I did not have a design to form a group or form a following in this vein. What happened was I saw people suffering, and I thought, well, I won't make any difference, but I'm going to at least say my piece. And I started seeing people calm down, which was gratifying. Then I thought, well, what the heck, there's some people watching these things, I might as well throw some links up there, see if we can sell some books. Now, there's a lot of free reads up there. You don't have to buy anything. You can click on Blogspot, Simple Old Boy Blogspot, The Damn Good Times, go to Crystal Lee's newspaper, and you can read 600, 700, 800 articles I've written, which is basically, I publish 2 online books for free. So you can read me for free. If you want to hold something in your hand, go to Amazon and order Simple Old Boy from Austin. I'm amazingly consistent, which is absolutely amazing, that my political views have not changed much over the last 10 years, except for one thing. I was originally an open borders person. In 2007, I really did believe that Canada, the United States, and Mexico need to cooperate, and I was asking, why can the Canadians just skip across the border, go shopping at a mall in Buffalo, New York, and the Mexicans can't skip across Laredo and go to a movie? That detected a little bit of racism there. And now I understand that we do have to have national sovereignty. We do have to have that, because if we don't have that, then you don't have the strong America I was talking about that the nations depend on as a benchmark for world solidarity. That's what we need. Okay. The focal point of this live feed is, yes, Obama was a bad president. He did bad things, and I told you the reason that he did it. He was an anti-colonialist. But the optimism is, we're not going to fix things. We're already fixing them. We're already on the road to fixing them. The entire Congress and Senate is falling behind the Trump train. They are. Trump was going to do away with Obamacare, and then he kind of hedged a little bit. Well, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll get that. It looks like Paul Ryan or whoever said, well, hell no. Oh, well, Donald, we'll probably have this thing disassembled by the time you take office, man. Because we know it's a bunch of crap. We just don't have anybody standing behind us. As simple as that. Anyway, you're calm to the point. Yes, I am. Okay. Thank y'all for viewing me. I will try to do broadcasts every day, but I will always announce, tell you when I'm going to be on exactly. If I have interruptions because people walk in, please forgive. I will take a subject and I will expound on it. Sometimes we just might have story time. When nothing's shaking and the country's not quaking and shaking, I might just tell you a story about a gunfighter I knew or something like that, just to make you feel good. Anyway, till tomorrow. Oh, something else. I don't make these things long and rambling. I make them about 30 minutes because you have things to do, I have things to do, and I don't want to bore you to death repeating myself all the time. I want you to watch this over and over saying, oh, that was good, and it was short and to the point. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. I will always tell you the truth, okay? Because I'm a good guy. My cowboy hat is white.